Everyone, it's Anson here from Weekend Garage. Today I'll be showing you guys what the package looks like when you purchase the custom ambient lighting kit from us. So first off, your shipping label is going to be on the top, all your info, make sure that's right. And then once you open it this way, you fold it open, and open it, you're going to get a thank you card. This is going to contain our contact information. If you have issues with your order, you can check that out. And then once you open it, you're going to have a shipping label to see what you've purchased. It's all going to be listed on there. So in this case, we have the tape and the kit. These are two separate items. First off, you're going to get 5 controllers. Make sure it's the master and 4 slaves. I'm going to lay it all out on the table for you guys to see what everything looks like and which wiring harness goes where. So we're going to put that off to the side. The tape, it'll be good if you want to wrap your harness like the OEM factory harness. We got some packaging. And then we got the lights. So I'm going to take it out just to show you guys. So once you take the lights out, it's been counted for and hand packaged. So for sure it's going to be the correct amount. So here, I'm going to break it apart for you guys. You're going to have 4 footwell lights, which look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your 4 footwell lights. I'm going to lay it out here. So pretend that is the passenger, that's the driver, this is rear driver, rear passenger. So we're going to have a footwell light for that side, footwell light for the driver's side, footwell light for the rear passenger, and footwell light for the rear driver. That out of the way. And then next up, we're going to have one that looks like this. This one is the cup holder light on your door for the lower portion. That's what it looks like. There's two versions. The other one looks like this. It's a little bit bigger with the plug-in. This plug, once you pull it out, it'll look like this. This is for the door handle part. So you pull it out, you put it in, and then you put this little tab back in. So it'll disperse the light evenly within the door pocket. So we're going to put one of those for each side. This is once again the drink holder light, and that is the door handle light. So each one is going to get one set. The rear passenger side, once again, it's going to be right here. Rear passenger gets a door pocket light and a cup holder light. Same for the rear driver. So one of each. There we go. That is where we're at the moment. So 3 lights, 1 footwell, 2 on the door, same for 4 sides. Drivers, passenger, rear, and rear. Next up, we're going to take this out of the way. You're going to have something that looks like this. This is the hardwire controller button, or a button where you can control the lighting modes and brightness. M is different modes. Every time you press it, it'll cycle through every different mode that your light will have. S, it's just the brightness. You click on it, it'll go from 10 brightnesses, so from 1 through 10 each time you press it. I'm going to keep that in the middle because that plugs into the master controller. We got some double-sided tape here. You can use it to assist you install. It comes in 4 pieces like this. Each piece you can stick on the footwell lighting right there. So it'll have a quick tear that you can peel off, and it's in 4 pieces that you can put on each footwell lighting to help you install easily. We also included a drill bit that you could use if you decide to put these lights elsewhere. But if you were to follow my original video, you do not need to drill anything. Keep that right there, and zip ties for you to do cable management on your footwell lights or within the door pocket. If you want to go above and beyond, you can also heat up this included heat shrink to closely hold the wires. That's optional, up to you. It's included if you want to use it or not. Now we're gonna grab the controllers and I'm gonna spread it out for you guys to show you where each one goes. So first off, we have the master controller. This is the one that goes in the center console. You can tell it's a little bigger on the adapter end versus excuse the one-handed work here. Get that out of the way. It's all nicely packaged in anti-static bags and it's waterproof as well, so in case it gets wet, the bag will protect whatever's in it. So the slave controller is the bottom, master is the top. There is no way to mix up the wiring harness, which I will get to in a second. So all the slave controllers will have a smaller plug. If you take a look here, slave controllers on the bottom, these four, this is the master. There's no way to mess this up. Just to be clear. No need to panic if it doesn't fit. It's probably the wrong controller. So, we are gonna put the master, let me get this out of the way so I can properly show you guys. It's a very nicely packaged box. We hand package it, make sure it's shipped nicely and everything's accounted for every order. So, we're gonna get the master. This is the center console. We're gonna put it right here. And then we're gonna have a slave controller for each door. This is the one that's gonna go in the door pocket. There's also 5 double-sided Velcro stickers that's included, so you can quickly pull off your door card if you need a service, and you can just peel this off whenever you need to. Not that you would ever need to, because there's also a quick disconnect on here. So, but if it's ever faulty, you can just replace this part with some Velcro. Extremely easy. So you put the slave controller on the door where I showed you on the last part, on the door window control module. You're gonna stick it on there, put the double-sided Velcro tape, one on the back here, and one on the door. So we're gonna space it out, one slave controller for every door. There we are. Once again, that's the drivers, that's the passenger, that's the rear passenger, and that's the rear drivers. So we're gonna spread out and give them their appropriate double-sided stickers. If you get confused, you could roll this video back, but this is where we're at the moment. I'm gonna split off the zip ties, one for each door. You can do cable management, make it nice and neat. And then, before I go over the big, gigantic wiring harness, I'm gonna show you guys nicely how the blade lights are packaged. If it's a little curly from shipping, you can bend it back. They are flexible LEDs, just no sharp 90-degree turns, just like fiber optic. However, this is not fiber optic in this case, but check it out. It'll bend back really easily and it'll stay in place with hot glue. You can also, if you have both hands, which I'm unable to do right now, you can just hold it and then run your hand all along and it'll be perfectly straight right after. So, you should have a super long one, a super short one, and then you should have 6. Sorry, this is the super long one, which goes in the front. That is the glove box area, which you can cut to length. And cut the length, all you gotta do is just use your scissors and chop it to whatever length you desire when it's powered off. Make sure you don't cut it when it's powered on because you're gonna short out the circuit. Make sure you cut it on the other side and not the power connection side. So the longest one, usually you could put it on the glove box side, which I showed on my original video. And then the super short one, which is this one. This one, you can put it on the ignition, where the push to start button is, just right under there. So that's where we're at. The middle is going to be the radio and center console. And then we are going to have one of these for each door, which I'm going to put over here. Hopefully it's not confusing. That is going on the driver's side door. And this is going on the driver's side door as well. Apologies for the mess. Got a small table today. Another one, this one is going to go on the front passenger door. This one is going to go on the rear passenger door. It slides right in quite easily. So just to show you guys what it looks like in a close-up. This sharp side is the side that goes in the door. The big side is the side with the actual lights. So this is the rear passenger door. Excuse me. And then this is the two center console on each side of the console, right in the middle. So 1 and 2. It's supposed to be straight. So apologies for the curvature. Hopefully you guys are still following. Drivers, passengers, rear passenger, and rear driver. These are for the doors. This is footwell, and everything here is for the door. The footwell light, I'll show you in just a second. After I open this large bag of wiring harness. So this large bag of wiring harness also comes in a static-free waterproof bag in case it gets wet, which it will not. Contains everything you need to wire up this kit. You may be intimidated at first, thinking, holy, that is a lot of harnesses. That is extremely confusing. I probably can't do this. But have no fear. I'm going to show you guys where everything goes. It's very straightforward. These 4 with the yellow wires inside are for the slave controller kits on the side. How you can differentiate it is by the ground tab. There's going to be a soldered tip for you to quickly plug into the window motor or the window controller so you can get power to it. None of the other stuff has this feature. And this kit, or these wiring harnesses for the slave controllers, are the only ones with a yellow. So I'm going to put each one in the appropriate place, and then I'll show you how it works as well. I'll break down each cable for you guys and explain it. So this one is going to be for the slave kit because it's got a yellow, like I said before. So one for the rear passenger, one for the passenger door, one for the driver's door, and then last but not least, one for the driver's passenger's rear side door. So first of all, for this, we are going to have 3 of these red connectors. I'm just going to untangle this so it's easier to show you guys. So this is what it's going to look like. You don't need to mind the tags. It's just for identification, for warranty and production date and such. So we're going to grab one of the slave controllers and show you how this plugs in. There is no way to mess this up as it only goes in one way. We're going to grab the slave harness kit. And we know that because it has a yellow cable and nothing else has a yellow cable. Doesn't matter which of the 4 harnesses you use, they're all the same. So if you take a look, there is a quick disconnect tab here. You can press it and it'll quickly disconnect, but it just plugs in. Oh, it's hard with one hand, but you just plug it in like so. The quick disconnect goes on the top. Boom. You hear that click, nice and satisfying. It'll never come loose. And that is how you install the slave controller wiring harness. There's no way to reverse and plug the master in by accident because it does not even fit. So don't worry, this is extremely easy. If it wasn't easy, you would not find this as a DIY kit. So if you need to take it out, you just need to press this tab here and then pull it out. However, it's hard with one hand. I don't want to mess this up. So just press on the quick release and you can pull it out. Make sure when you install it this way so gravity will be facing down. So if there's ever water or condensation behind your door, the water is not going to drip into your controller. So make sure it's installed upright. So if there is water, it drips downwards. Just a helpful tip. And then you're going to see 3 of these red cables right here. These, or red or orange, depends if you're colorblind or not, but we're gonna have different zones. Zone 1, and then it's gonna be zone 2. It's even labeled nicely on here. It says zone 2 bowl and foot light. Same for this, zone 2 bowl and foot light. What we're gonna connect these to is we're gonna have the door light. We're looking at the rear passenger side. So we're gonna grab, this is the drink holder light. Remember I told you guys how you can differentiate is that it's smaller and there's no round tab for it compared to this one. This is the bigger one with this where it spreads out the light, and the smaller one is the lower drink holder light. So we've got a quick disconnect. We're gonna keep it on zone 2. So in case you wanna have different lights on zone 1 and zone 2, zone 1 being the blade light. If you wanna have a purple light on there, running at 50% brightness, and then you wanna have a white light on the lower part of the door at, let's say 20%, then we can wire it to this zone 2 cable. What you gotta do is very easy. Excuse my hand here. You just gotta plug it in. So once you have successfully installed this, you'll hear a click just like so. If you ever need to take the door off for service, you just gotta hold this tab and then pull it out. It's very easy, quick disconnects on every part. So for example, that's plugged into zone 2 door and footwell light or door bowl. And then the top one, the handle light, we're gonna plug it into here. Zone 2, floor and bowl light. That's what we're gonna look like. The footwell light, I'll show you where that plugs in later. That goes onto the master controller. So next up, once you plug in these 2 orange ones to the respective lights, we're gonna grab the blade light for the rear door, rear passenger door, because that's the controller we're showing you right now. And then we're gonna plug this into this one. This one says zone 1 LED light. So it's gonna get its own individual light settings if you want, or you could have it match the bottom and have one zone for everything that's programmable via the app that will be included with your purchase. So quick disconnect, you just plug that in, very easy. I'm gonna put that back. I'm gonna leave it here to show you. So we have used up all 3 of the orange/red connectors. The remaining 2 cables on the slave controller are the ground and the power. ACC, power, minus ground. You can't mess this up, it's very easy. So these ones you can plug into your door window motor. So that will get power every time your car is in ignition on or engine on mode. You don't have to worry about it draining because it runs off whenever that module gets power. So that's how you wire the slave controller. Hopefully there's no confusion on this end. We're gonna show you the footwell later. Don't worry, we didn't forget. So we're gonna put this aside and I'm gonna show you the other wiring harnesses. I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit. So now I've just showed you guys how the slave controller works, the wiring harness, and where each respective plugs go. Don't worry, we didn't forget the footwell light. That is gonna go on the master controller. We have the harness right here. How you could tell is there's a bunch of other cables on it. Red, orange, and there's only one in this kit. I'm gonna show you how to plug it in, and I'm gonna show you which wires we're gonna use. So, we got the master right here. Now you know it's got the bigger cable plug, and there's no yellow in this harness. We're just gonna plug it in like so. Boom, it's gonna go in, very easy. That's gonna be in the center console with the nice Velcro. And then we are gonna need the following. First, you're gonna see these two orange plugs, orange/red, and this one. They're all labeled, but I'm gonna explain to you what they are. One of them says button, and then there's 3 wires coming out. The button is for this hardwired switch right here. You just gotta plug it in. You can't mess this up. It only goes in one way. It's a disconnect. It's a quick disconnect. It only goes in one way. That controls your lights and the brightness, like I said before. Put that aside. So that explains the button wire. I'm gonna put that on the side. Next up, we're gonna have one that says Zone 2 footlight. What could that be for? Let's see. That is gonna be for Zone 2 footlight, just like it says. Very straightforward. How we're gonna plug in the footwell lights that I told you guys earlier that we're not gonna forget is with this expander kit. That's also included with your purchase. So this Zone 2 footlight right here plugs into one of 2 of these wiring harness expanders, which is included with your kit. What you want to do is grab the Zone 2 label and then plug it onto the red here. Once you plug it onto the red, you are going to have 4 outputs. You can untie this. It's a very long harness. It'll reach anywhere in the footwell for your RAM if you run it through the center console, as shown in my video previously. So once you plug it in here, it's going to expand from 1, Zone 2, onto 4. Where are these 4 going to plug into? These 4 are going to plug into the footwell light. So 1 here, that's for the rear passenger. The front passenger, it's going to plug in there. The drivers, it's going to plug in there, right there. And then the rear driver, it's going to plug in there. So boom, we figured that out. That's where the footwell lights go. I'll put this out of the way. And then now you know where this one goes. I'm going to take it out the way so we don't confuse anyone. The last of these 3 wires that I was explaining is going to be Zone 1 LED light. Zone 1 LED light is going to be for the blade lights on the center console and the front dash. It's going to be the same thing. Don't worry about these wires. It's just for identification on our end. But how you can distinguish is if it's the expander or not is by looking at this. There's 4 orange red tabs and 1 dark red tab. Once again, Zone 1, we just plug in the Zone 1 light onto the expander, boom, like so, and this will spread all over the dash and center console where you can plug in the blade lights, which are the ones I mentioned earlier. So 2 in the center console right here. With these connectors, they will plug in this orange part right there. So that's where the 4 plugs go. Ignition, glove box, center console, center console. When I said ignition, I mean right below the ignition, that little part. So this concludes this harness. Once you open it, it's long enough for everywhere you want to put it on the dash. I'm going to put this out of the way so it doesn't confuse anyone. If you are confused or if you got lost, you can roll the video back or email me if you still have any questions regarding the kit. We are gonna have a few more wires here. I'm gonna explain to you guys. It's not gonna be used, or actually some of the wires are not gonna be used. The ones that aren't gonna be used is the orange one and the one that says trumpet and voice box. We are not gonna use these because it does not bring the quality that we want, and it drives the cost up and it looks funky when you use it. So we don't need these. We can tie it up with the wiring harness tape so it looks like it doesn't even exist. For future expansion, I just left it in there. So this is where we get the power for the master module, because the door plugs, remember, all we have to do is plug it on the window motor module, and it's very easy. For the actual master controller, what you want to do, you can do it this way or a way that you'd like with a fuse tap, but I'm going to show you this way. You can follow it if you want, or you could do it a separate, cleaner way. What we're going to do is cut this off and then strip the wire back, and then we're going to pull off the existing 10 amp fuse, which I'm going to show in this photo right here. You pull it out and then you strip back this wiring sheath until the copper is exposed about 1/2 inch, and then we're going to wrap it around the prong of the 10 amp fuse that's already existing in this truck. Then we're going to plug it in and it will draw power when the ignition is on. When it's off, there's not going to be any lights or any battery drain because it's just following the control for that fuse. You could do a tap kit or a hot tap kit or whatever they call it, where you add an extra fuse. That's up to you. Not going to show that today. If you know how to do that, you probably don't need to watch this part anyways. So that's how we're going to do the positive wire. For the negative wire, you can differentiate it because it says ground negative. How you know it's the positive? It's red. It says ACC, which means accessory mode, if you wanted to know. But for the ground cable, there's going to be a 10 millimeter screw / Phillips right on the top part of the driver's knee area. Once you pull the fuse panel off, and I'm going to show you in this photo right here, this black screw. Once you loosen it a little bit, you just prop this in there and then you tighten back down that screw. Your kit is now grounded and powered on for your master controller, because we were just discussing the master controller harness. So we have just went through everything for this kit or for this harness. There's nothing else on here. Don't worry about those ones like I mentioned earlier. And then you don't need to sand down the ground area because it's already bare metal and it provides a nice ground. So once again, we're going to put that back. My advice to you guys, if you are attempting this install, it's very easy. I wouldn't say it's very easy, but if you follow what I just told you guys, it's very straightforward. There's no way to plug in the connector backwards and blow something up, or a connector not fitting, because each connector is made specifically for each device. So if something doesn't fit, you don't need to force it. Just send us an email if there's any issues. There shouldn't be, because it's all tested and packaged by hand and counted for with great quality control, as you see. So once again, this is what it looks like. I know it looks messy right now, but we have just went over how everything works. If you still have any questions, you can send me an email. My email is linked in the caption below. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching and have a great day.